I found out my wife was cheating. From the guy she cheated with. He messaged me. I think we're dating the same woman. We met up and uncovered something way worse than just an affair. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to say this. But I found out my wife was cheating on me because the guy she was cheating with messaged me. And believe it or not, that was just the start of the nightmare. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about how far some people will go to protect a lie. And what happens when the people you're lying to start talking to each other. Let me walk you through exactly how my life blew up. Because if someone told me this would happen to me, I'd laugh in their face. But it did. And it changed everything. So, my name's not important. Let's just say I'm a normal guy. Late 30s. Been married for 6 years to a woman I thought I knew inside and out. Let's call her Jenna. We weren't a perfect couple, okay? But I thought we were solid. The kind of couple that finishes each other's sentences, shares Spotify playlists, fights about takeout, and then falls asleep on the couch watching trash TV. Nothing fancy, just real life. Real love. Or so I thought. A few weeks ago, I got a message on Instagram. No profile pic. Just a guy named Matt. No mutual friends. Looked like a spam account. I almost ignored it. Almost. But the message preview caught my eye. Hey, I know this is random, but I think we need to talk. It's about Jenna. I froze. Now listen, I've never been the paranoid type. I've never checked her phone. Never stalked her social media. Never snooped through her stuff. But something about that message made my stomach drop. I clicked it open. The full message read, "Hey, this is gonna sound weird, but I think we've both been seeing the same woman. Her name's Jenna. She told me she was divorced. But I saw a photo of you two on her Facebook. Are you guys still together? Still together? Still together?" I sat there, staring at my phone, heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon in place. I didn't respond right away. I read it again, and then I went to Jenna's Facebook. Sure enough, her profile photo was still the two of us from a trip last year. Smiling, holding each other, looking like some dumb couple from a romance movie. I checked her recent posts. Nothing suspicious. Just a few memes, a birthday post to a friend, and a photo of our dog. So what was this? A prank? A scam? Or was it real? I messaged him back. Yeah, we're still married. Who are you? His response came instantly. I'm so sorry, man. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know she was married. She told me she was divorced 2 years ago. We've been dating for 3 months. 3 months. I don't remember putting the phone down. I just remember sitting there in absolute silence. 3 months. That covers Thanksgiving, Christmas, our anniversary. She was with someone else while we were decorating the house. While we were hosting her family for dinner. While we were lying in bed, talking about taking a trip this summer. 3 months. I felt numb. It was like my brain shut off. You know when your gut knows something before your head does? That was me, right then. My gut was screaming. I felt sick. But my brain just sat there going, no way. No way. I asked Matt for proof. Honestly, I expected him to get defensive, maybe block me, maybe back off. But he didn't. Instead, he sent screenshots, text messages, photos of them at a restaurant I recognized. It was just 2 blocks from my office. One of her in my hoodie. Her face half covered, but no denying it was her. And then the worst one. A mirror selfie in a hotel bathroom. Same day she told me she was visiting her sister. I just sat there, staring at that one picture. My wife. In a hotel room. With another man. And me? Sitting at home, making dinner for us that night. I didn't tell her I knew. Not yet. Something told me not to. Instead, I asked Matt if he'd be willing to meet. I said, let's talk. Face to face. He agreed. We set up a time to meet that Saturday at a little coffee shop halfway between us. Quiet, out of the way. Neutral ground. For the next 2 days, I acted normal. I went to work. Kissed her goodbye. Ate dinner with her. Slept next to her. Every second, I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I needed more information. And some sick part of me wanted to hear it all from the guy she was cheating with. Saturday came. I got there early. Ordered a black coffee and waited by the window. When Matt walked in, I recognized him immediately from the pictures. Tall, bearded, kinda rugged. Definitely her type. He looked just as uncomfortable as I felt. He sat down across from me, cleared his throat, and said, "Man, I swear I had no idea. If I knew she was married, I would have never gone near her." I believed him. There was no arrogance in his voice. Just confusion, frustration, and maybe even hurt. He started telling me everything. How they met on Bumble. How she told him she was fresh out of a toxic marriage. How she claimed she was healing, not ready to post him online. How she called me her abusive ex who wouldn't stop stalking her social media. I nearly laughed. That's how surreal it felt. She didn't just cheat. She built a whole fantasy life where I was the villain. And just when I thought I'd heard it all, Matt leaned in and said, "There's one more thing. I don't think I'm the only other guy." That's when the real nightmare started. Because what I thought was just one lie turned out to be a whole web of them. And we were just two flies caught in it. So, there I was, sitting in this coffee shop with Matt, the guy who'd unknowingly been dating my wife for the last few months. Honestly, I thought this was the end of the road. She cheated. I caught her. He found out. Story over. Painful? Yeah, but straightforward. That's what I thought. Then Matt looked at me and said, "I don't think I'm the only one." That line hit me like a cold slap in the face. What do you mean, not the only one? He pulled out his phone and scrolled for a second, then held it up. It was a photo, a screenshot from Jenna's Snapchat story that she accidentally made public. Just a quick little video of her feet kicked up by a pool. The thing is, Matt hadn't been with her that weekend, and I sure as hell hadn't either. That weekend, she told me she was with her mom. She even sent me a blurry selfie of her and her mom cooking. Looking back, I realized the photo could have been taken months ago, but I didn't think twice at the time. Who does? He told me he had a weird feeling about it back then, like something was off, but he didn't want to push. You could tell he was still processing all of this too. I mean, this woman sold him this whole story about healing from a painful marriage, about finally feeling safe again, and meanwhile, she was running what honestly looked like a rotation of men. I was still half in denial when I got home. Jenna was on the couch watching some murder documentary, all casual. She smiled when I walked in, asked me how my day was. I said, "Fine," and went straight to the bathroom, locked the door, sat down, and just stared at the floor. I couldn't stop thinking about that pool photo, the blurry mom selfie, the fake divorce story. I realized I needed to know the whole truth. Not pieces, not guesses. I needed facts. So I did something I'd never done in our entire relationship. I snooped. I waited until she was asleep, out cold, and then I quietly got up, crept to the living room, and grabbed her gym bag. Why? Because earlier that week, I'd seen her get a text while she was grabbing her water bottle. She jumped a little and shoved it back in fast. My gut said check the gym bag. And there it was. A second phone, tucked under her leggings in a zip pocket. No lock screen, no password. Like it was a burner, not her main phone. The second I opened it, I felt this cold, sinking weight in my chest. It was full of texts, full conversations with names I didn't recognize. One guy saved as dentist, another as Uber, another just had a peach emoji. I scrolled and scrolled. They weren't just hookups. Some of them were full-on flirty, affectionate, "I miss you" type conversations. One guy was sending her playlists. Another sent her pictures of his dog and said, "He misses you." Someone else was asking when they could have another weekend like Miami. Miami? She told me she went to Miami for a conference last spring. That was when I had the flu and stayed home. This woman didn't just cheat. She maintained multiple relationships, each with its own set of lies and excuses. It was like watching a magician pull scarf after scarf out of their sleeve, except every scarf was another betrayal. I took screenshots of everything, every text thread, every name, every photo. I sent it all to myself, then erased the sent messages and put the phone back. The next morning, she made coffee and sang along to the radio like nothing had happened. And I played along. I said, "Good morning," kissed her on the cheek, and went about my day. Then I texted Matt, "We need to talk again. It's worse than we thought." We met that night at the same cafe. I brought a printed list of all the names and numbers from her second phone. He looked over it, eyes wide, shaking his head. "This is insane," he said. She had time for all of this? That's when something else clicked. I told him to check his banking apps. I checked mine too. Small transfers here and there. $20, 50, 100, gas money, dinner for two. Venmo captions like Uber and pizza night. She was using our money to go on dates with other men. We went into full investigation mode. Matt even messaged one of the other guys, just one, dentist, and asked him how he knew Jenna. The response came almost immediately. "You mean my girlfriend?" She had told him she was a traveling consultant, that she was constantly on the road, barely in one city for more than a few days. He'd been seeing her for over a year. A year. Matt looked like he was about to be sick. I was numb, not even angry anymore, just detached, Like I was watching someone else's life unravel. We told dentist everything. We sent screenshots. He didn't believe us at first, but when he saw the pictures, the same selfies, same phrases, same exact excuses, he just said, "Holy hell, how many of us are there?" That question stuck with me, because at that point, we didn't know. We were three guys. Three completely different lives. No overlaps. No mutuals. All being played by the same woman, each believing we were the center of her world. That night, I went home, kissed my wife on the forehead, told her I loved her, and climbed into bed. She smiled, told me she loved me too, and I just stared at the ceiling, thinking about how easy it was for her to lie. How effortless. The scary part? If Matt hadn't messaged me, I would have never known. That was the night I realized this wasn't about cheating anymore. This was about how far someone can go when they think no one is comparing notes. And we were only getting started. After that night, sleep wasn't even an option. I lay there in bed next to her, just listening to her breathe. And I kept thinking about that guy's message. "You mean my girlfriend?" How casually he said it. Like it wasn't even weird. And to him, it wasn't. Because she had built an entire life with each of us. Each lie tailored perfectly for the version of her we thought we knew. The next few days turned into surveillance mode. Not in a creepy, Hollywood spy kind of way. Just quiet. Watching. Listening. Letting her talk. Letting her dig the hole herself. She told me she was working overtime. Told dentist she was flying to Chicago for a contract gig. Told Matt she had to go low contact for a few days while she processed emotions from the divorce. 3 men. 3 completely different lies. All unfolding at once. And all we had to do was wait. We set up a group chat. Me, Matt, and the third guy, his name was Ryan, by the way. Turns out, he was recently divorced. Thought Jenna was the first woman to make him feel something again. That hit hard, man. You could tell this dude was already raw, and this just opened another wound. We started syncing our calendars, sharing screenshots. Every time she messaged one of us, we dropped it in the chat. By the second day, we were noticing patterns. She recycled stories. Same jokes. Same excuses. At one point, all 3 of us got a version of this. "Sorry I've been quiet. I'm just dealing with a lot of anxiety this week." She even sent us all the same selfie, her wrapped in a blanket, holding a mug, with a pouty, "I'm having a rough day" face. That was when Ryan snapped. He said, "I'm done being polite about this. I want to see where she goes." At first, Matt and I hesitated. But then I remembered something. Last year, we installed a Find My iPhone tracker on our devices. It was meant for safety, like if she ever lost her phone. Thing is, she never turned hers off. Not even now. So I logged in. And there she was. Not at work. Not at her mom's. Not even in town. She was 2 cities over. At a hotel. No explanation. No business trip. No bags packed. I messaged the group. "She's at the Bayview Inn." Matt didn't even respond. He just started driving. He was closer, about 30 minutes out. He told us to sit tight, keep her talking. So I did. I texted her, "How's your day going?" She replied, "Exhausting. I've been in meetings since 8 a.m. Right. 30 minutes later, Matt sent a message to the group. "She's here. Room 204. Just saw her go in. She's not alone." Boom. Confirmation. Live. I felt this weird wave of calm wash over me. Not rage. Not sadness. Just clarity. Everything I'd suspected, everything I'd feared, it was all true. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't insecurity. This was real. She was a serial liar. And she was so used to juggling people that she stopped caring about the risk. Matt didn't knock. He didn't cause a scene. He waited in the lobby, watched the guy she was with, another new face, leave the room for a smoke. Then he left, too. Quietly. No mess. He sent us a picture of the guy. Not me. Not Ryan. A 4th man. And now we had faces. That night, we got on a video call. All 3 of us. No masks. No awkwardness. Just tired men trying to make sense of what the hell we were dealing with. Ryan was already talking to his lawyer. Apparently, she had convinced him to invest in a business idea a few months back. $5,000. Gone. Matt found out she borrowed his car last month and got a parking ticket he had to pay. And me? I was sitting next to a woman who was making grilled cheese and humming to herself, completely unaware that I knew she'd spent the afternoon in a hotel bed with guy number 4. I made a decision that night. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to fight. I wasn't even going to ask why. I was going to burn this down slowly. Quietly, deliberately. The kind of revenge that doesn't come with yelling or broken dishes. The kind that comes with paperwork. The kind that leaves nothing for her to run back to when the house of cards finally falls. And trust me, it was about to fall. Because the next morning, she left for yoga. But I followed her. And what I found changed everything. That morning was unusually quiet. She woke up early, made herself a smoothie, and told me she was heading to yoga. Same routine, same calm voice, same casual kiss on the cheek before she walked out the door like everything was fine. Thing is, Jenna hadn't gone to yoga in months. I only knew that because I'd asked her about renewing her membership a few weeks back, and she got cagey, said she doesn't like the energy there anymore. But here she was, suddenly zen again. Right. So I waited 10 minutes, grabbed my keys, and followed her. Kept a few cars behind. No music, just the sound of my own heart thudding in my chest. She didn't drive toward the yoga studio. She drove across town to this upscale little brunch spot. One of those places where the avocado toast costs $20 and you feel underdressed if you're not wearing sunglasses and some kind of hat. I parked across the street. Watched her walk in like she didn't have a care in the world. 5 minutes later, the guy from the hotel, the one Matt had seen, showed up. He kissed her on the cheek, they hugged, and then sat down on the patio like a picture-perfect couple. She ordered waffles, laughed at his jokes, even fed him a piece of her bacon. I sat in the car and watched my wife romance another man like it was her job. And maybe it was, at this point. I took pictures. Nothing dramatic. Just quiet evidence. The kind that speaks louder in court than any yelling match ever could. When I got home, I didn't even feel like crying. I felt efficient. I called a lawyer, asked for a consultation, explained I wanted everything documented, everything airtight. I told her about the financial stuff, the extra phone, the possibility of fraud. The lawyer listened, asked smart questions, then said something that stuck with me. She's not just cheating on you. She's living multiple lives. If you try to confront her now, all she'll do is shift the narrative. You want control? You stay quiet, and we build this properly. So that's what I did. Over the next 2 weeks, I became the most polite, attentive, and emotionally available husband on the planet. I brought her coffee. I complimented her hair. I asked about her day and pretended to listen. And while I did all that, I was quietly draining our joint accounts, transferring my direct deposit to a new bank, pulling my name off shared subscriptions, separating my credit. I called Ryan and Matt and told them what I was doing. They were on board. We started digging further. Found old posts on her Reddit account, stuff from years ago where she talked about being tired of monogamy and wanting to live freely. Found her burner TikTok where she flirted on live streams using a fake name. Found a Reddit thread where a guy was asking for advice because his amazing new girlfriend was still acting weird about her phone. The way he described her, it was her. Right down to the laugh. There wasn't just one more guy. There were at least 2 more that we knew of. It got to the point where even Matt and Ryan started joking about it. I feel like we're in some kind of budget Netflix doc. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. Not really. Because while we were playing detective, Jenna was getting bolder. She started slipping, bringing new cologne scents into the house, taking late-night showers, leaving with 2 bags, coming back with 1. The lies were getting lazy. I realized she didn't care about hiding anymore, because she didn't think I'd ever question her. That was her biggest mistake. The final straw came on a Thursday. She said she was heading out for a girls' night. She even showed me a group chat with her friends confirming plans. Thing is, I knew those friends. I knew she photoshopped one of the screenshots. She'd reused a background from a text 6 months ago and added a new message over it. Sloppy. I let her leave. Then I called her best friend. And yeah, she had no idea there was any girls' night planned. That was it. That was the moment the whole thing snapped into place. I was done waiting. The trap was set. The evidence was stacked. The players were ready. Now it was time to flip the whole thing on its head. And she'd never see it coming. It started with a dinner invitation. Matt messaged her and said he wanted to talk things through, maybe see where their connection was going. Said he missed her. Played the wounded, vulnerable guy perfectly. She took the bait instantly. Oh my God, I've been thinking about you so much too, she wrote. I'm free Thursday night. Dinner. Boom. Nailed it. What she didn't know was that Matt wasn't the only one at that table. While she was busy picking out a dress and pretending to be some romantic, free-spirited soul searching for real love, I was in the background organizing everything like a stage manager. I booked the private room at the restaurant. I made sure the lighting was good, so faces would be clear on camera. I even asked the waiter to bring the champagne exactly 10 minutes in. That was our signal. And of course, I made sure Ryan was in town. The three of us hadn't seen each other in person yet. It felt surreal, like a weird support group nobody asked to join. We were angry, yeah? But at this point, we were past rage. This was chess now. And Jenna? She was still playing checkers. Thursday night, she walked into the restaurant wearing a green dress I'd bought her for our anniversary the year before. I remember thinking, fitting. Let's see how well it holds up tonight. She smiled at Matt, gave him a little flirty hug, sat down, and ordered a cocktail like she didn't have a care in the world. They chatted for a few minutes. Small talk. Catching up. Fake giggles. She even dropped the classic line. I'm just in such a weird place right now, emotionally. Matt nodded along, real supportive. Played his part to perfection. Then, 10 minutes in, champagne arrives. Matt smiles, lifts his glass, and says, to truth. Jenna laughs. What's that supposed to mean? And that's when I walked in. She froze. You ever see someone's face go through 5 different emotions in 3 seconds? Confusion, panic, fear, denial, and then fury. Oh, she said. So this is what this is. I didn't even sit down. Just nodded toward the door. Thought you'd like to meet some of your other boyfriends. Ryan came in next. Calm, hands in his pockets. He didn't say a word. Just looked at her like she was a science project gone wrong. For a second, she just sat there, speechless. Then she tried to play it off. This is insane. You're stalking me? Are you serious right now? Matt leaned back in his chair and said, You told me he was your abusive ex. You told him you were traveling for work. You told him you loved him. Then I dropped the envelope on the table. Inside, copies of text messages, burner phone logs, bank transfers, a full list of names and dates and receipts. She glanced down, saw the evidence, and I swear, something just shut off in her eyes. She didn't even try to lie. She just whispered, You went through my phone? That's what she latched onto. Not the cheating, not the emotional damage, but her privacy. Classic. I said, You've been lying to everyone who's cared about you, manipulating people, stealing, using, and now you want to cry about boundaries. She stood up, grabbed her bag, looked around like she was still trying to find the escape hatch. You're all psychos, she said. Then she left, and for the first time in months, I actually felt good. Not victorious, not smug, just clean, like I'd finally washed something disgusting off my soul. I stayed behind while Matt and Ryan headed out, paid the bill, gave the waiter a massive tip for dealing with all that tension in the air. When I got home, Jenna was already there. Lights off, sitting on the couch like a villain in a movie waiting to monologue. She said nothing when I walked in, just stared at me with these cold, angry eyes. Do you feel better now? She asked. I didn't answer. I just handed her the manila folder with the divorce papers, already signed, already filed. Told her she had 2 days to get her stuff and go. She laughed, like I was joking, but I wasn't. Everything had already been set in motion. The lawyer, the accounts, the security cameras I reactivated after she moved in. I even notified the leasing office of the situation. She didn't say anything after that, just walked into the bedroom, slammed the door, and didn't come out until morning. By the weekend, she was gone, left a few boxes behind. A charger, a necklace I gave her once that she used to swear was her favorite. Guess it wasn't worth packing. Funny how quiet the apartment felt after she left. But it wasn't empty. It was peaceful, and that was the difference. She tried reaching out a couple times after that. First pretending to be apologetic, then angry, then playing the victim. One time, she even tried to rope my own mom into guilt-tripping me. Didn't work. I sent one final message. You didn't just cheat on me. You tried to rewrite the truth. Now you don't get to be part of mine anymore. Blocked her on everything. As for Matt and Ryan, we stayed in touch for a while. Grabbed a few beers. Traded war stories. Laughed about how we all dodged the same bullet, just from different directions. Turns out healing starts when the lies stop. And now, I sleep better than I have in years. Because I finally know who I was sleeping next to. And now, I never have to again. It's been 7 months. 7 months since that night in the restaurant. 7 months since the folder hit the table and the mask finally came off. You'd think that after something like that, after your whole reality gets torn up and thrown in your face, you'd feel broken, hollow, bitter. But you know what surprised me the most? It wasn't any of those things. It was relief. Real, honest, bone-deep relief. The kind you feel when you finally put a weight down that you didn't even realize you'd been carrying for years. Because here's the truth I didn't want to admit back then. Jenna had been off for a long time. I just ignored the signs. I wanted to believe we were fine, that she loved me, that every small lie had a harmless reason. I didn't want to see the rot underneath the smile. And part of that's on me. But the thing about clarity is, once you have it, you can't unsee it. After she left, I stayed in the apartment for a while. Not out of nostalgia, just to remind myself of what I survived. Every corner of that place had memories, sure, but now it had something better, proof that I could rebuild. I started working out again, cooking for myself. Hell, I even joined a local book club. First meeting, I was the only guy there and had no idea what I was doing, but it was the first time in months I wasn't thinking about her. That alone made it worth it. Ryan ended up moving across the country for a fresh start. He sends the occasional meme in our group chat. Matt started dating someone new, a nurse. Good for him. We still keep in touch. There's a weird bond between people who've been through the same fire. You come out burned, sure, but also smarter, wiser, way less tolerant of BS. As for Jenna, last I heard, she moved in with some guy in another state. Don't know which one it was. Probably not one of us. Maybe some new mark. Doesn't matter. She sent me an email a few months ago. Long, dramatic, full of apologies. Claimed she'd gotten help, was working on herself, and hoped I could find it in my heart to forgive her one day. I didn't respond. Not out of spite. Just peace. Because what could I possibly say? I already forgave her in my own way. Not for her sake, but for mine. Because I didn't want to carry her baggage any longer. I didn't want to wake up angry. I didn't want to keep letting her live rent-free in my head. I've got better things to do now. I've got people who matter. I've got myself back. And that's the real ending here. Not the drama. Not the trap. Not the revenge. It's the quiet after. The deep breath. The next chapter that finally belongs to me. So yeah, that's my story. I found out my wife was cheating on me from the guy she was cheating with. But I didn't lose my mind. I didn't lose my dignity. I didn't lose my future. I just lost someone who never deserved to be in it. And honestly, that's the best damn thing I've ever found out.